The DJI Osmo 360 is one of the best 360 cameras I have ever tested, but there are a few problems. I am going to base this review on 8 categories, starting with the design. It's actually really small for a 360 camera, has a 2-inch OLED display that's really nice, just a little bit small. There are 3 buttons, it weighs 183 grams, and feels very premium like you would expect from a DJI product. If you get one of these, you also get plugged into their ecosystem. That means if you have a microphone from them, this can act as the receiver, and a lot of the old Osmo Action batteries and mounts will work with this. Battery life is something DJI cameras have always excelled in, and this is no exception, getting around 100 minutes in HK30. For some context, in the real world, that's about the same as the Insta360 X5. Another big advantage of this camera is the 105 gigabytes of internal storage in addition to the micro SD card slot. Now, the most important thing is image quality, and a very key spec to getting good image quality is sensor size. Larger sensors will capture more light, reducing noise and producing a better image, especially in low light conditions. For context, the GoPro Max 2 has under half-inch sensors, and the Osmo 360 has 1-inch sensors. Well, almost. Basically, instead of having rectangle sensors that you can only use a portion of, wasting a lot of space, they just made them square so the active pixel area is equivalent to a 1-inch 360 camera. For the rest of the specs, this can shoot 8K at up to 50 frames per second, 4K at up to 120 frames per second, it can take 120 megapixel photos that actually look pretty good, and it has 10-bit color, but all of that is just specs, so how does it actually look? Now filming on the Osmo 360 in 8K. I also have all the settings set to auto, and everything is straight from the camera, both video and audio. So this is exactly what you can expect from this camera when you get it out and start filming. There is a little bit of wind, so the audio might be a little bit muffled. But I have the DJI Mic Mini, and as I mentioned earlier, you do not have to have a receiver to connect it. And I think it's around $50 or $60, so let me know if it makes a big difference. Back to using the onboard microphones. As I start to go faster on my electric scooter, can you still hear me? And there's also a good chance to test out the stabilization. If I start to run, how does it hold up? Finally, this is what the low light video looks like in the 360 mode on this camera, and you can compare that to the iPhone Air's new selfie camera. Software is also very important, especially for a 360 camera. And if you've ever used a DJI camera before, this will be pretty user intuitive. If you haven't, there might be a little bit of a learning curve, but it's not going to be any harder than the competition. Moving on to the more important part of software, which is the app. Again, pretty intuitive, and for editing, you have some common tools like subject tracking and a bunch of controls for reframing. Just be prepared because it does take a little bit to learn how to reframe 360 footage. Okay, it's time to talk about the first con of this camera, and that is durability. These lenses stick out quite a ways, and they're non-replaceable, so if you drop it, scratch it, scuff it, you have to send it back to DJI for them to fix it and then send it back to you. And jumping in here real quick, DJI wanted me to let you know that apparently it's not that expensive to do the whole lens replacement process. The second problem with this is reliability, and I think it might be a little bit overblown. Now, I have had a few glitches, like one time I put it on the wing of an airplane, it randomly stopped recording. When I went to see what happened, it said the battery ran out, but it was like at 60%, so I'm not exactly sure what was going on there, but that type of problem should be fixed in firmware if it's not already. However, the more serious issue is that people have been complaining that the lenses have been getting fogged up. Now, I got my camera hot and stuck it in some water, and I did not have any problems. Personally, I think it was a problem with an early batch, but you never know. The good news is I just saw the Osmo 360 pop up on Amazon for a little over $400, and for that price, you'd be getting a really good deal. The thing is, we're talking about DJI, so the availability in the US might be a little bit rocky, and on their official store, it's $550, which is the same price as the competition, and it's out of stock. With all of that being said, here is my recommendation. If you like the DJI ecosystem with the mounts, mics, accessories, and want the 10-bit color, or just find a good deal on it, then I would recommend this.